Soon the train arrived at another city. It was one stop away from Busan, but a train blocked their way. Fortunately, the driver killed the train and the road was blocked. They could only change to another train to continue driving. The driver called the phone inside the train to inform everyone that they were about to change to another train. The uncle in black and the crew also heard it. It turned out that they had escaped by hiding in the toilet. The male ideologue got off the train. They were ready to continue to change to the next train. However, they had just after getting off the train, a train with fire all over it rushed towards them. The train derailed, shattering its windows. The male lead and pedestrians were also crushed. In front of them were zombies in the glass. The male protagonist found a small hole and climbed out from it. At this time, the glass of the train began to shatter. The zombies behind fell out. The homeless man picked up a stick without saying a word. The male protagonist and the zombies were at a critical moment. He wanted to let the pregnant woman and the child go first. The child and the pregnant woman were reluctant to leave. They left reluctantly. They remembered this selfless homeless man. The male protagonist took the child and the pregnant woman away. All the zombies behind him crawled out. In a blink of an eye, there were thousands of zombies. Hero continued to run with the child in his arms. He stretched the child onto the train, then the pregnant woman, and finally the zombies at the back of the underground. They grabbed the train. 1, 2, 3, countless zombies all rushed up. If this continued, the train would definitely be dragged and stopped. The hero began to step on the hands, spine, and feet of the zombies in front. The zombies were finally stepped down, and they were finally safe. The male protagonist started walking towards the cab. When he opened the door, it turned out to be the uncle in black who was about to turn into a zombie. It turned out that the uncle in black was bitten by a zombie after he ran out. The driver was about to save him, but he killed the driver and ran up. The uncle had not completely changed after he came out. He didn't even know that he had been infected. He asked the male protagonist to send him back, but the male protagonist said that you have been infected. The uncle looked at himself and cried. Then he wanted to kill everyone on the train. If he couldn't survive, he would not let anyone survive. He pounced. The male protagonist wanted to bite him. The male protagonist held his head and didn't let him get close. The male protagonist was about to give up. The pregnant woman came to help, but the uncle started to attack the pregnant woman. The male protagonist ran over to help. He covered the uncle's mouth for fear that he would attack the pregnant woman, but he was bitten. The little girl started crying. The male protagonist locked himself with a chain. He hugged the uncle and threw him down. He was chained and finally climbed up. Looking at his hands, he knew he would not live long. He left the child, and the woman arranged for him to stay in the cab. When he was leaving, he and his daughter said goodbye reluctantly. His daughter burst into tears. Although he didn't want to leave his daughter, it was too late. He pushed his daughter's hand away and ran out, closing the door of the cab. Although his daughter was making a fuss in the cab, she also had her head. He walked to the back of the train without looking back, and then he cried bitterly. He remembered the moment when his child was born and smiled, but now he was about to become a zombie. In order to get his daughter to Fukuyama safely, he jumped off the train. His daughter could only watch from the train. The train finally arrived at Fukuyama. Corpses were everywhere. The two walked into a tunnel where a group of living soldiers were guarding. The soldiers found them, but they were not sure whether the two were alive. When the sniper was shaken and fired, a girl singing rang out in the tunnel. The soldiers confirmed that it was a living person. Finally, they were rescued. Some people say that this is not a zombie movie. It dispels the notion that zombies are exclusive to Western movies and lacks the Hollywood-style heroism of saving mankind. What is more is the reflection of human beings and the portrayal of emotions. Of course, it is definitely a good movie.